Hi, I'm Devin Finley, and I'm going to be sharing with you a marketing plan that I created for Cheap Shots. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to share with you some research I was able to find on the side. And Cheap Shots is in the bars and nightclub industry, which is worth $25.4 billion. That is a huge piece of pie, and especially for Whitewater, that's probably the main source of entertainment that we have in a small college town. Now, out of that $25.4 billion, 69% of that is made up of spirit drinks and beer. And we all love beer, we all love spirit drinks. What we also like to do is eat. And that's actually made up of 14.1% of the pie that Cheap Shots can utilize and help create a competitive advantage all over its bars. Now, I also found out that millennials really like to drink a lot. So 30% are more likely to drink 4 or more drinks at a night downtown. And I don't know about you, but that's probably like $10 to $15 per person going out at a night downtown. And Cheap Shots is really utilizing this and capturing the market because they're really focusing on creating action and emotion so people can feel the life of the party as well as enjoy the best quality drink in Whitewater. Alright, now I'm going to get into what we're actually going to be talking about today about the Cheap Shots marketing plan. First, I'm going to cover the marketing background. Alright, now we're actually getting into the marketing plan at Cheap Shots. First, I will be talking about the company overview. Then I will get into the situation analysis. After that, we'll be having fun with the SWOT analysis. And after that, we're going to talk about the marketing objectives and goals. After that, we're going to go into the marketing strategy and then the marketing mix. And then we're going to go into the assumptions that I have created in order to make all the numbers seem good for the financial planning analysis. And then after that, get into the marketing matrix and evaluation. Alright, so to start things off with the company overview, before Cheap Shots was known as Cheap Shots, it was also known as Hawk's Nest. They really needed to do some work at Hawk's Nest because it just had a bad brand image and they were just doing absolutely terrible. They had average of 120 customers per night and profits on average of $250 a night. And the owners and the managers really were thinking about just trying to do something. They don't want to close the doors completely, so they just decided to rebrand it in the summer of 2016 and change the name to Cheap Shots. And from then on, they have had on average of 275 customers per night and on an average of $650 of profits per night. And the hours of operation, they're open Tuesday through Thursday from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then Friday and Saturday from 9 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. Now we're going to get into the situation analysis where we're going to be talking about the customers, the competition, and the company itself. But first I'm going to start with talking about the competition. Now with the competition that Cheap Shots has, they have 10 competitors in the area, with the number one competitor being Pumpers. Now, Pumpers is their number one competitor because they are the only other bar that has a DJ and a dance floor. And the other bars in Whitewater do have drink specials, which are a little cheaper than what Cheap Shots offers, but they don't taste as good, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the other competitors that are indirect would be Walmart, 3 gas stations, and 2 liquor stores on the outskirts of town for people who drink before they go out to the bars. Now the next section we're getting into is the customer segment. Now the ideal customer for Cheap Shots would be someone. Okay. Alright, so the next section we get into is the customer segment. And there was a study that I found that actually mentioned binge drinking among enrolled college students has actually decreased 5.4%, which isn't alright, but with Cheap Shots it's alright because they don't have the Everclear or the bad tasting drinks. They offer some other good ones. So if you're someone who is outgoing, otherwise you probably won't be going to the bars anyway, that be a person, you enjoy quality, good tasting drinks that isn't Everclear, and you also enjoy to dance, and you want to feel special. Now, there was also another study that I was able to find from Statista, And that said, the number one reason why people drink is because they want to have fun and fit in with their social environment. Now, Cheap Shots bases their focus on creating action and emotion. So they want to create an environment where everyone can fit in and feel like they're the life of the party. So that fits you. If that fits your target segment, then just wobble your way over to Cheap Shots. Now, once you wobble your way over to Cheap Shots, you get to go in Cheap Shots and learn about the company. Now, they are known for having the best tasting drinks on campus. They have over 50 different shots, bombs, and mixers. And their best-selling mixed drink is called the Smurf. Check that one out. And their best-selling shot is the Jolly Rancher. And they also have a variety of beers. They have over 15 different kinds of beers at all time. And they will also, for you ladies, if you want to feel special, be one of the first 50 ladies on Thursday night and you get to receive a free rose. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about the SWOT analysis for Cheap Shots. Some of the strengths Cheap Shots has is that they have a DJ with a dance floor, they have a tiki bar, and they also have one-of-a-kind drinks that are handcrafted by the bar manager himself. Some weaknesses Cheap Shots has is that they still have the brand image of Hawk's Nest. They could use some touch-up on their interior design, and they also could use a little help on their social media. Some opportunities they have is they could add a food service, and they could also kind of use social media as an opportunity where they can add user-generated content and find different ways to mix around some social media techniques. Some threats they have from their competition, they could also have added food service, as well as their competition offers cheaper drinks. Now that we covered the SWOT analysis, now I'm going to get into the objectives for the 2017 year. For non-financial goals, they want to implement a food service, they want to increase their social media interactions, and they also want to increase their attendance at Cheap Shots. For the financial side of things, they want to increase their overall profits by 20%, as well as obtain a 10% ROI on their paid social media advertising. Now that we're done going over the marketing objectives for 2017, now it's time to dabble with the marketing strategy. So what we're going to do with the marketing strategy for the segmentation is target the UW Whitewater student base because they drive the culture, they make up a majority of the population, and their word of mouth spreads quickly. They also have a say in the brand image. Now, to be able to target in that segment is we want to target the influencer of large amounts of groups of people who are fun, positive going, always life of the party, always bringing the fun energy. We want to bring them in because they will be the ones that create the environment around in that bar that everyone will conform to. And when that happens, that positions us to be able to have user-generated content from Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, people just uploading, hashtagging. And from there, we can also sustain a food service because we'll have a large enough customer base. We'll be able to feed a lot of people as well as get a lot of user-generated content as well to bring in more people for just that segment alone. Now it's time to get into the marketing mix. First off, we're going to start with the product strategy. So what we're going to do with the product strategy is really emphasize on how good the quality and the taste of all the drinks are at Cheap Shots. And second, we're going to use a crowdsourcing effect to be able to create new drinks on top of letting the customers pick the flavors and have interaction with social media that way to be able to really emphasize on creating new products tailored to the customer. And lastly, what we're going to do is because there are so many drinks already, they don't really have any way of showcasing what they really have to offer. So what we're going to do is create a drink board that has categories from shots, bombs, and mixers, and just have a list of all of them in a creative way. So that way people want to give a try to all of them. And then after the product strategy, we're going to get into the promotion. So like I was saying before with Facebook, social media, we really want to emphasize on using hashtag Cheap Shots or using Snapchat to be able to see if there's a line outside the front door or if the dance floor is bumping, as well as using Facebook to create promotions for contests for a winner for someone who can create the next drink for a monthly drink. doing something along those lines on creating more Facebook interaction with their customers and allowing them to create user-generated content on their page as well. Now for the distribution strategy, everything will be bought in Cheap Shots. They will not do any delivery or any outside delivery services. And for the food services, that will be through Amazon, is where I was able to find the cheapest price for them to be able to buy in bulk. And on top of that, now we're going to get into my pricing strategy, which at Cheap Shots, they have $3 beers and shots. They have $4 mixers and $5 glasses of wine. And for the food, I came up with a pricing strategy for the cheese curds is what we're going to be selling for $3 and French fries for $2. Now for the fun part, get to go into my assumptions. For the first assumption, I'm going to make based on research that people ages 18 to 24 are 35% more likely to consume 4 or more mixed drinks per night. And based on that, I'm assuming that mixed drinks are going to be the #1 seller Thursday night through Saturday night. And for my second assumption, I'm assuming based on Facebook likes that each like is equal to 1 drink or $4. That to get 61 new likes, that would increase social media interactions by 15%, which would also increase their profits by $244. And for my third assumption, I am assuming for the food that each food order they bring in to Cheap Shots, that they sell 100% of that. Now for the financial side of the marketing plan budget for Cheap Shots. So their budget they had in place was $125 per month for their social media and $1,000 per month for their liquor. And for the food that I put in place, it would be $204 per month for that budget. And going through on the plan for that entire year, I've noticed that the plan that we put in place for Cheap Shots, there was a 12% increase every single month. And it was a 10%, that means they hit their 10% ROI goal, which would bring in $150 a month to hit that goal. And for the food, there was an average of $6,030 coming in for that month from the food side. And for the overall yearly growth, there was a 21% revenue increase, which reached their goal of 20%. So overall, the plan that we put in place for Cheap Shots has reached all their goals. So the metrics that we use to be able to track all their social media would be through Snapchat and Facebook Analytics. And that tracks the target market, the user-generated content, and also their social media interactions. And for that, I want to end with get yourself down to Cheap Shots and get yourself a Smurf.